Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the continuation of Is Neutrality Not Enough? This will be the final part, chapters 12 and 13. Hey. Izuku looks up and sees Hitoshi approaching the park bench he's sitting on. He'd asked his friend to meet him here in a park that they often visited to discuss the owl situation. Not that Hitoshi knew that, of course. Izuku first had to tell him. He was lying if he said he wasn't nervous to the point of almost throwing up. He gives his friend a nervous smile. Hi, how are you after, well, everything that happened? Hitoshi's smile disappears, and he sits down on the bench. He rakes his hand through his purple hair and answers. I'm okay. Or as okay as I can be after seeing a classmate kidnapped. He chuckles lightly. We got scolded by Dad, though, when he found out about a rescue a few of my classmates did. That's good. Izuku tries for a wobbly smile but fails. Hitoshi, of course, notices. He always notices when Izuku is troubled by something, and frowns at him. Are you okay, though? I tried to text you a few times, but you didn't answer any of them. And then all of a sudden you want to meet here. He gestures at the park. Not explaining anything. Izuku swallows thickly. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Hitoshi doesn't say anything. He just patiently waits for Izuku to continue. It's one of the many things Izuku appreciates about his friend. Something he'll probably lose once this conversation is over. Izuku doesn't say anything for a while. Instead, he stares at the other park-goers. There are kids playing on the playground, enjoying their holiday. Students are lounging on the grass and enjoying the warm weather together with friends. Some people are walking their dogs, or are savoring the coolness of an ice cream. Izuku gets the distinct feeling like he isn't part of this sunny and happy world anymore. Like there's a thin barrier between him and them. Maybe in a different universe he would have been one of those students who were now enjoying their holiday. In a different universe, his mother would still be alive, and he would not be being threatened by the League. But that isn't the case, because the only universe that Izuku knows is this one, and here he lives with the shadow side of society, the side that wakes at night, the underworld, the side of society that wasn't treated fairly, and maybe that's something Izuku wants to do something about. He wants more people to be part of the sun-filled world. He has an idea how. The seed was planted a while ago. He pushes all those thoughts away, though, because that's not what he has to worry about now. Izuku takes a deep breath, and he stares ahead as he starts. Do you remember when you found out that I knew Al? Hitoshi looks at him with a raised eyebrow. Of course. I don't know how I could forget that. Izuku presses his lips in a thin line. Well, I lied. The truth is, I am Al. With much effort, Izuku manages to turn his head and look at his friend. Hitoshi is staring at him with a frown. But, no, you're joking, right? I was interrogated by Eraserhead a few days ago. Izuku smiles sadly. He sees the moment his friend connects all the dots. His incredulous expression morphs into one of betrayal. Why didn't you tell me? His friend asks, a bit louder than normal, the pain in his voice raw. Izuku looks away and whispers, I didn't want you to choose between me or your parents. I'm sorry. I need time to think. Izuku watches his friend walk away. The echo of the pain in his voice feels like a sharp stab to his heart. A tear slides down his cheek. How did he lose everyone in a few days? Izuku sighs and stretches his arms above his head. After sitting behind his laptop for so long, he's stiff all over. He feels like he's finally getting somewhere with the case he's supposed to be helping the heroes with. It's about one of the Yakuza groups, the Shie Hisaikai. They'd been connected to the rise in a new quirk drug. Izuku had heard rumors surrounding the boss's death and the new leader of the group, Kai Chisaki, or Overhaul. That's all he knew about the group, though, until he got stuck with the case. A message from his phone distracts Izuku, and he opens his phone to look at the text. It's a meme from Hitoshi. Izuku smiles and quickly sends a response back. It's been a month since the fight with his friend. After a week, Hitoshi texted him saying he wanted to speak with him. There had been a lot of shouting and a lot of tears. Eventually, they made up, though. The sight of Aizawa's face when Izuku entered their apartment was one that Izuku would never forget. He was grateful for the human interaction. Todoroki he hasn't spoken to anymore. It saddens him, but he knows it's better if Todoroki doesn't interact with him anymore. It would only bring him danger. The same goes for Mei, though Izuku has gotten his hands on a new burner phone, so they still text each other. He also hasn't heard a word from Dabi in the last month. That was a given, though. The man was probably stuck hiding out with the League. Izuku's heart clenches when he thinks about all the friendships he's lost, or had to let go in this past month. Risk of the job, he guesses. It's fine, though. It would have had to happen anyway, because soon he's going to Don't think about it. Just enjoy the time he has with Hitoshi. Izuku turns back to the screen of his laptop and sees an email popping up. He opens it and sighs when he sees what it's about. Seems like the raid is happening soon. It's a shame. He'd hoped he'd have more time with his friend. If looks could kill, Izuku would be dead by now. He is sitting in a stifling meeting room, together with a dozen or so heroes, discussing their course of action considering the Shie Hisaikai. The meeting has already been going on for a few hours with debate about the safety of civilians, laws, protocols, blah, blah, blah. Izuku is surprised anyone is saved these days with the amount of protocols and laws the heroes have to abide by. He's made that opinion clear a few times already in the past few hours, and each time Eraserhead gave him a look that said, "Are you serious?" He's not the worst, though. Oh no. Luck has it that the meeting takes place at Night Eye's agency. Luck also has it that the man is the one who leads the investigation, and thus this meeting. From the looks the man has been giving Izuku, it has become clear he absolutely hates the informant, and that he does not agree with the fact that Al is a part of this investigation. Izuku is having a blast irritating the hero. There must be a way to gather more information. Izuku looks up from his notebook. He's been doodling in it for half an hour. Finally, an interesting topic. Information gathering. Well, unfortunately we don't, so we'll have to wait a bit longer until we can raid their compound. Night Eye looks at the hero with frustration. His mood hasn't improved in these past few hours. I could. All heads turn to Izuku, half of them with annoyance on their faces. They must think he's joking again. Night Eye looks at him with a raised eyebrow. What? You could. Izuku smiles at the hero, though it takes a lot of effort because he can feel his annoyance rise. He's glad for his mask. The familiar feel of his owl costume calms him down. I mean, I sell information. If I acted as if I wanted to make a deal, I could get a lot of information out of him without being suspicious. Night Eye looks at him disapproving. Surprisingly, Fat Gum speaks up. I mean, the kid's got a point. The hero stuffs another bite of food in his mouth. It's at least worth trying, right? A few other heroes nod along. Night Eye sighs deeply and pinches the bridge of his nose. Fine. The compound Izuku is being led through is bigger than he expected. The clammy hallways are filled with Yakuza members who are doing a variety of tasks, and Izuku even spots a few non-Yakuza members. The one leading him through the maze of hallways is the villain Chronostasis. "Nice place you got here, huh?" Izuku says, forcing the nervousness out of his voice. He stuffs his shaking hands in pockets. The villain doesn't respond and keeps on walking. Izuku huffs. "Okay, then. Nice chat." After what feels like an eternity, Chronostasis stops in front of a double iron door and gestures for Izuku to enter. Going through the door, he enters a bare room with 2 couches standing opposite from each other in the middle. No one other than Overhaul himself is sitting on the couch facing Izuku. Mimic, one of his closest advisors, if Izuku's information is anything to go by, is sitting on the edge of the couch. Behind them is another door. It probably leads deeper into the compound. "What a surprise, Al," Overhaul drawls. He eyes Izuku with an uninterested look. "I'd expected you to be finished off by the League by now." Izuku takes place on the other couch and grins sharply, ignoring the man's attempt to rile him up. "What can I say? Nothing can stop business." Overhaul hums. "Why are you here?" It's more a demand than a question, and Izuku is reminded of why he never did business with the man. Izuku grits his teeth but keeps up his relaxed demeanor. "I've come to offer you a deal." Al never offers a deal. It's always the client who comes to him. Recent events have damaged Al's reputation heavily, though, and the fact that the League is gaining more power doesn't help. Izuku barely has done any business lately, and not just because the heroes are monitoring him. "Tell me why I shouldn't sell you out to the League right now." Overhaul sneers with a raised eyebrow. "You have a hefty price on your head." Where the League got the money to put such a high price on Al's head, Izuku doesn't know. He'd thought they would be broke, but apparently not. All of All for One's bank accounts were frozen. "There's a power vacuum right now in the underworld." Izuku sighs. He clasps his hands in front of him and leans forward with a sweet smile. "You have the potential to fill it." Bingo. A spark of interest ignites in the villain's eyes. "I also would prefer you over the League to get the power." "What do you have in mind?" Overhaul tries to mask his interest, but Izuku sees right through his mask of indifference immediately. "You've been getting more power in the underworld. Knowledge, though. That's how you get true power. I can help you get it." "You say you want a deal. What do you want in return?" "You've been making these temporary quirk-erasing bullets. They're supposed to become permanent ones, right?" Overhaul almost puffs up in pride at the mention of the bullets. A fanatic tone enters his voice when he says, "It will rid this world of the filthy disease that is called quirks." Izuku swallows. Right. To everybody their own obsession. "In return for the information, I want to have a look at the research papers." Suddenly, Overhaul looks at him with suspicion. "And how will I know you won't betray me in the way you betrayed the League? You sold out all their information to the heroes." Izuku tenses. He's reminded again of the hefty price he had to pay for his freedom. Al's reputation isn't what it used to be anymore. People don't trust him. It's bad for business, and Izuku knows it'll only get worse the more power the League gains. "They'd already broken the contract," Izuku spits, letting his tension transform into anger. "So just don't break it." "Boss, maybe I could get..." Mimic speaks up for the first time. Overhaul holds up his hand with an irritated expression. Quiet. He scrutinizes Izuku with a calculating look. Get Eri, Mimic. He barks at the other villain. The man shuffles out of the room with a squeaky, Yes, boss. Overhaul turns to Izuku with a cold grin. Congratulations, Al. You've got your deal. I'll even let you have a look at my test subject. See it as me putting my faith in you. The or else is not missed by Izuku. The two of them have just finished signing the contract when Mimic comes back dragging something behind him. Or not something. Someone, Izuku realizes. A girl, not older than 6, with messy long white hair and wide red eyes filled with fear. She stumbles as she's pushed forward by Mimic. Overhaul catches her roughly by the back of her neck and holds her there with a firm grip. She's wearing a white hospital gown, and Izuku notices poorly wrapped bandages around her legs and arms. There's blood leaking through them. That's when Izuku realizes that she is the test subject Overhaul was talking about. It takes all of Izuku's restraint to not brutally murder Overhaul right now. Overhaul grips Eri's neck even tighter, and the girl flinches. Say hello, Eri. She looks at Izuku through a curtain of white hair. Hello, mister, she mumbles. It's almost a whisper. Izuku smiles his most assuring smile at her, as if that would ever help her, as if that could tell her to hold on for just a little longer, that the heroes are coming to rescue her. Hello, Eri. Overhaul smiles, sickeningly proud. Eri is the key to purge this world. Eri flinches again, and Izuku can only nod, too disgusted and angry to trust himself to form words that won't blow his cover. After that, Izuku manages to end the conversation quickly without seeming suspicious. Izuku would love nothing more than to kill Overhaul and his group of villains right now, and to take Eri somewhere far, far away from these cold hallways. He can't, though. Not without a plan. Not with Overhaul's hand still on Eri's neck, making her a hostage. No. Instead, he leaves the compound, seething, and with a promise. A promise to free this girl and to get rid of Overhaul. Hitoshi. Yeah? Thanks for being my friend. Sure. Why so sentimental, though? I just thought I'd say it. You know, the case is coming to a close. Oh, right. Yeah. The hallways are busier than last time. That's the first thing Izuku notices as he's being led through the underground compound of the Shie Hisaikai. Chronostasis once again is the one to escort Izuku to the meeting room with Overhaul. He doesn't attempt to make conversation this time, mostly because of his nerves. The cause of those nerves being the fact that the raid is happening today. Izuku doesn't know much besides that, mostly because one of the 8 bullets, Shin Nemoto, has a truth quirk, and that in case Izuku gets discovered, he won't be able to tell them much. He has one job: give a signal when he enters the room with Overhaul. Izuku notices they're taking a different route this time, but eventually they reach the double iron doors and Izuku enters the bare room. Chronostasis steps inside behind him, acting as a silent guard, just like last time. Stuffing his hands in his pants, Izuku tries to appear relaxed, when in fact, he presses a device that sends a signal to the heroes. Hello, Al. Overhaul is sitting on the couch, fingers pressed together in front of him, and an uninterested look on his face. Izuku internally curses when he sees who's sitting next to the man. It's not Mimic. No, it's Shin Nemoto. Fuck. Hello. Izuku takes place on the other couch and opens his backpack to take out the information he's collected. I got some info. Overhaul hums but doesn't say anything. Izuku looks up from the stack of files he was about to take out and scans the room. Nowhere in the room can he see anything that can hold the research papers. Normally that doesn't mean anything, but this time it sets Izuku's instincts on edge. Where is your part of the deal? The words come out a tad sharper than they should be. Before the villain can answer, one of the Yakuza members storms into the room, heaving for breath. The heroes have broken in. There is no spark of surprise in Overhaul's eye, only annoyance. Chrono, go with him. The two exit the room, leaving Izuku alone with Overhaul and Nemoto. Now, as to why we haven't brought our part of the deal with us. Overhaul looks at Izuku with cold anger. Izuku's stomach drops and his hand goes to the gun strapped to his side. Nemoto, ask him. All right, boss. The villain's face is not visible behind the plague mask, but Izuku can hear the mirth in his voice. Owl, why are you here? Izuku tries to bite his tongue and not say anything, but it's useless. His mouth moves before he can try. I'm here to rescue Eri. Now that the words are out, he continues, his anger flaring up. You're a monster, Overhaul. You think I'd ever actually do business with you? Overhaul sighs with fake disappointment and starts removing his gloves. No. That's why selling you out to the League was my plan. It's a shame I'll kill you myself before that can happen, though. The other door in the room behind Overhaul opens, and Twice and Toga dart out. Owl-kun, I missed you. I want to see you in pretty red. You betrayed Shigaraki. I'll kill you. Overhaul now has removed both his gloves and stretches his fingers with a face of disgust. It's a shame I have to kill someone who's superior to all of us in terms of quirk. You'll be a sacrifice to a clean world, though. He bends down to press his hands to the ground and... bang, bang. Shota's making his way inside the compound together with Rocklock, Night-Eye, and his intern Lemillion. Their final destination? Overhaul. In other words, where Al and the tracker he's carrying with him are. They leave the villains behind for the police to gather and start heading in the direction of the tracker again. That's when the hallway starts moving. Watch out! This is Mimic's doing! Night-Eye shouts. A big wave of concrete suddenly appears. Shota and Rocklock jump forward at the same time that Night-Eye and Lemillion jump backwards to avoid the concrete wave. Then there is silence. Fuck. The motherfucker managed to divide us. Rocklock curses. He massages a spot on his shoulder. Even got my shoulder. He looks up. Are you okay, Eraser? Shota gives an affirmative grunt as he stares at the newly formed concrete wall. A face and then an entire body phases through the wall. Are you two okay over here? Yeah, we're fine, Rocklock answers. How about you? Same here, though that's quite a strong quirk to be able to move concrete like this. Shota frowns. Mimic shouldn't be able to manipulate spaces like this. The hero student sighs. No, he shouldn't. Sir says he probably took some form of trigger. Oh, great. Now we have to deal with 2 quirk drugs. Rocklock grumbles, staring at the walls as if trying to find Mimic in there. Let's split up. Me and Rocklock will go on this way, and you and Night-Eye will go the other way. Shota decides. The longer they stay here, the longer Al has to be alone in one room with Overhaul. Lemillion nods. Sure thing. Good luck. And he disappears inside the wall again. Come on, let's go. Shota nods in the direction of the hallway. Bang, bang. The two look at each other and start running in the direction of the sound. Shota's heart is in his throat. Surely Al wasn't. They turn right when at the end of the hallway it splits up and almost immediately come across double iron doors. Inside, Shota hears sounds of fighting. When Shota throws open the doors, he sees Al fighting Nemoto, and surprisingly, also Toga and Twice. A body Shota doesn't immediately recognize is laying next to the couch in a pool of blood.
Al-kun, your blood tastes delicious. Let me have some more.
Al doesn't respond. Instead, he's busy ducking underneath a hit of Nemoto's. I'll kill you, you murdered boss! Rocklock and Shota immediately jump into the fray. Rocklock taking on Twice and Shota trying to capture Toga with his capture weapon. It's a dangerous dance he and Toga play. She almost seems to be made of water, as she evades his capture weapon time and time again, giggling all the way as she retaliates with her knives. Suddenly, Twice screams. No, my mask! I'm not whole! Am I the real me? Immediately, Toga darts away, dragging Twice with her. She pouts.
Aw, the heroes are always such party poopers.
Eraser, get her! Rocklock shouts, but it has no use. The two villains disappear through another door in the room, Twice screaming and tugging at his mask. Toga, with the words,
Next time I'll see you in pretty red, Al-kun.
Al, in the meantime, knocks Nemoto unconscious with a devastating blow to the head. He doesn't even acknowledge Toga. The door closes and Rocklock seems to want to go after them. Shota holds up a hand. Wait. They are not part of our mission. Let them go. Overhaul is priority. He turns to Al, only to see him get his backpack and start to move to the same door Toga and Twice just went through. Al, wait. What happened to Overhaul? He asks, with as much authority as he has learned in his years of being a teacher. The informant doesn't even turn around as he answers. He's dead. That's when Shota realizes that the body laying on the ground is the leader of the Shie Hisaikai, Overhaul. A bullet was shot clean through his head and through his heart. It is clear that the man wasn't going to get up anymore. Holy shit, Rocklock mumbles with an exasperated expression on his face. Shota's also not sure how to feel about the fact that Overhaul is suddenly dead. Night Eye here to everyone. We have Eri, so all personnel focus on apprehending all remaining Shie Hisaikai members. Rocklock looks at Shota with a relieved expression. You go take Al above ground. I'll join the police and help them with apprehending everyone. Shota nods and turns to Al. They managed to free Eri, so we won't have to go deeper into the compound to find her. Something in the informant's frame relaxes, and Shota can hear a shaky exhale. That's good. Come on, Al. Let's go. With a nod, the informant follows him, and the two of them start making their way back outside. Shota studies the kid for a while as they walk. The informant keeps looking straight ahead. Why did you kill Overhaul? It was either me or him. Al's face contorts into anger. He didn't deserve such a clean death. Shota doesn't comment on that last part. Instead, he asks, how did you even kill him? Didn't he have some sort of disassembling quirk? Al shrugs. I put some strong quirk suppressants in the bullets. He chuckles. Didn't think it would actually work that well. They arrive outside not much later. Police cars and ambulances are parked everywhere, and Shota is quickly needed somewhere else. He catches a glimpse of white hair in one of the ambulances before it drives away. Later, when all the heroes debrief, it is concluded that it was a successful raid. No one was too badly injured, and all members of the Shie Hisaikai were apprehended. Al isn't present at the debriefing. He must have slipped away in the chaos ensuing the raid. Eri was brought to the nearby hospital and was being kept in the Special Hero Ward, where protection was a lot better. If Lemillion's words were anything to go by, she was doing well, considering what she had gone through. Shota is on patrol that night. He had to take over from Rocklock, who had a dislocated shoulder and couldn't patrol for a few days. He's swinging from rooftop to rooftop when he notices a familiar figure. He jumps down and lands in a crouch next to the figure. "Hello again, Al." Shota sits down on the rooftop next to Al. The informant looks up from the street he was staring at, and Shota notices that he's not wearing his mask, only his green hoodie. "What are you doing here, Eraserhead?" It's asked softly, and with a sigh. Shota shrugs. "Saw you sitting here, kid, so I thought I'd drop by." A hum. Midoriya turns away from Shota again, and this time he looks up at the stars, his eyes tracing the constellations. "You should be more careful." Shota frowns. "Every hero is on high alert, trying to catch you." Midoriya's shoulders tense, then slacken again. "Then shouldn't you be trying to catch me right now?" he asks sharply. Shota huffs. "I think it's bullshit, so no." They're silent for a while, and Shota watches the city. From so high up, everything seems distant, and it's peaceful. The wind is refreshing this late in the summer, and it carries all the noise away. He can understand why Midoriya likes it up here. "Does Hitoshi know?" Shota asks after a while. The kid hums, not taking his eyes off the sky. "About you leaving." Midoriya turns away from the sky and looks at Shota, blinking owlishly. "Who said anything about me leaving?" Shota rolls his eyes. "I think we all know you don't plan on sticking around with the commission on your ass." The kid shrugs. "Who knows? And don't worry about your son. I got everything handled." "Ah," is all Shota says. He knows Al won't be around for much longer. His presence has already been declining in the underworld for the past month. If he were to guess, Midoriya will probably go off the grid for a while. Disappear. It's something people like Midoriya sometimes have to do. It's why they often isolate themselves more from everything. That makes it easier to vanish from the underworld. Something occurs to Shota. "Did you ever expect to befriend anyone?" Something sad flashes through Midoriya's eyes at the question. "Not really." He chuckles bitterly. "I mean, quirkless, useless Deku." Shota feels like he misses some context, and the word Deku has a deeper meaning. Still, his heart clenches a bit when he thinks about one of his students admitting they never thought they'd make friends. The kid so very much looks like one of his students. He's broken by this world, though, and Shota isn't the person to be able to fix it. The informant has done everything possible with the shitty hand he's been dealt in life. Shota hopes he too can find his place in the world. "You could stay." It's an impulse, and Shota knows that the kid will decline. It would be illogical for him to stay. Midoriya, indeed, shakes his head as he gets up from the roof. "Goodbye, Eraserhead." "Bye, Al. See you around." Shota watches the kid disappear across the rooftops, into the darkness of the night. Chapter 13. Epilogue. Izuku watches his aunt, park in front of the apartment in a sleek black car. He takes the bags he's packed and stuffs them into the trunk. The notebooks are coming with him, as is his laptop. His owl costume is only packed for memory's sake. He takes his place in the front seat next to his aunt. "To the airport?" she asks. "Yeah," Izuku nods. "It's time I visit Dad again." She drives away, and Izuku looks back at the apartment. It's probably the last time he'll see it. He's leaving a lot behind. It's the risk of the job. It happens, even if it leaves Izuku with a heavy heart. Most importantly is that he's leaving Al behind, though. He's outgrown the role. Now he wants to build something new. He wants to mean something to those who want to reach into the sunlight. Standing at the sidelines and waiting for the heroes and villains to destroy each other is not something he wants to do anymore. He's going to do it in his own way, though, not with the help from either side. He's never liked sides anyway. He'll stay in the shadows this time, pulling the strings but never revealing himself. Laws can be changed. People's views of the world. The best change doesn't come from violence. In a few years, he'll come back. All right, listeners, this concludes the fanfic, Is Neutrality Not Enough? I'm curious to hear what you all think about this one. Personally, I like the fact that it's kind of this bittersweet ending. Oftentimes, I pick fics on here on this channel that are happy endings or that go really well, typically. And this fic really just kind of gives some ambiguous open endings, right? Some ideas of how Izuku is going to continue to walk the path he wants to, but also having to leave behind a lot of the people that he loves and cares about. So I'm really eager to hear what you think about it. If you like it, where your thoughts are, what you would predict for Izuku's future, right? Because, obviously, again, this is kind of open-ended here. So what would you imagine would happen next? So drop those thoughts, comments, reactions below. If you enjoyed the fic and you have an opportunity, I will always recommend that you slide over to AO3, leaving comments and kudos to the original author. I'm sure it's much appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for listening.